Hey guys, how you all doing? We're gonna get into some very deep, dark, and conspiracy-driven, conspiratorial stuff tonight on the show. That's right, some CON conspiracy. But before we get to that, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification button, and give us a thumbs up. Now, with that out of the way, let me tell you folks, besides the awesome guests we're having on the show, Robert D.Morningstar, who's joining us in a little bit, I'm going to present to you guys none other than my mega hat-wearing, cheery-eyed compadre from another madre, the man who's in no danger of being demoted here to temporary co-host, like on some other shows. Here he is still, the third host. He's not getting paid, but he is the third host in the show. We'll work on that later. Gerald Holcomb, take it away, brother.
Welcome. Thank you, Angel. And I want to say welcome to everyone. I am Gerald Holcomb, your defender of liberty and freedom.
Freedom!
I want you to know that I take my responsibilities seriously as the voice of reason on this show. Yeah, along with my fellow Trump supporter and mega patriotic citizen Angel. We really, each show, we hope to balance out the liberal socialist rantings of Spud Goodman. Now, on the radio show he and I do together, well, honestly, my role is much different than here on this program.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah, yes. Instead of being placed in the background like I am on the Spud Goodman show, here I'm an equal co-host on Rabbit Punched. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, Angel, it's so liberating, and I need to make it clear, liberating, that word has no connection to that sick term liberal.
That is correct.
Anyway, I just want you to know I'm raring to go, so let's get this thing going, Angel.
Yeah, let's do this.
You're the man. Damn right, brother. Now, with that said, Big Red, let's go ahead and do this. Let's introduce the one and the only, the man who wants to destroy Mount Rushmore so he could put his own face on there by himself.
I never said that.
Well, you meant it, though. You implied it. You implied to it. The second most popular guy on his own show, Spud Goodman.
Yeah. Take it away. Greetings and our Ola. I am Spud Goodman.
Man.
As you can see, I showed up once again to do this show, even though at times I do kind of feel like Juan Williams used to at Fox News on the 5 show. Because I'm outnumbered, obviously. Everybody knows that who watches the show. But, unlike all the other so-called rent-a-liberals they hire at Fox, I adamantly refuse to play the role of the Washington Generals. The basketball team that Globetrotters would smash every game while doing tricks and half-court shots. That team lost virtually, every game. And they smiled while they were getting killed. So, I may lose a debate on this show as it's kind of rigged against me, but I will not take a dive in the first round and go down like a weak-ass little punk, all right? That's for sure. So let's get this thing started. Let's go.
You guys know about rigging. That's for damn sure.
And Spud, can I gotta say, was it really necessary to use that nasty language?
For real.
The A word? My youngest, Dwight, is going to be watching this on our YouTube channel. And you are a terrible role model for the youth of America.
This show is not made for children, dude. And I doubt if your kid is going to watch any show with a bunch of old guys talking about politics and stuff. It's way too boring.
The country, so he will.
And for him and others his age, they aren't watching this thing. We can talk like adults. There's no FCC guys on this thing like a radio show, okay?
All right. Well, and on that note, Angel, would you introduce our first topic tonight?
Critical race theory, okay? This is a subject that is really just taking over the country, and it makes a lot of sense that we attack it and we rip it off by the roots. We destroy it, and we hammer critical race theory because it's destroying the fabric of this country. It's destroying America, and worst of all, it's made it so I cannot watch the NBA, Major League Baseball. I don't watch soccer anyway, so I don't care about that sport. But I can't even enjoy sports anymore. It's critically wrong, and I know for a fact.
Are you attending middle school right now? Is that where you are? Or do you have a child there? Or What are you talking about? Critical race theory throughout society? It's a proposed educational.
Look, Spud, it's not proposed educational when they tell you that everything is racist that I grew up loving. You're
sliding all of your talking points from the right into critical race theory in a nice little package, a box. It doesn't fit. It doesn't have anything to do with that.
And you're not doing that with your liberalism. Come on, let's be real, Gerald. I know Gerald understands what I'm talking about because Gerald is a white guy on the right side of history. Take it away, my brother. You're living it.
I'm living it. And Angel, thank goodness that we're finally taking on what is probably the most important issue facing America today, this critical race theory. Where did this come from? We were doing quite well before someone invented this to brainwash our children. I got to tell you, they don't need to be saddled with this. Trying to make them feel guilty about being white. My gosh, it's such a struggle to start with, by the way, growing up white in this country.
It is.
They should be allowed to do.
I mean, come on.
They should be allowed to do so in the same world that
I
did.
Talk, Spud. Let them talk.
Yeah, thank you, Angel. Where
You're welcome, buddy.
No one wasted time in the classroom teaching us about some isolated, icky stuff that happened hundreds of years ago. I've heard children at my church say out loud that it's just not cool to be white anymore, and that is so wrong.
Game has changed.
I guess history's a buzzkill. I don't know. I mean, and to those kids at your church, Gerald, tell them, everything has a shelf life, but maybe we white people will someday, make a comeback and be popular again. Kind of like shorter basketball shorts are now in, because I didn't see that coming.
Spud,
come on.
Did you
Can't
happen
we all
to
just
catch...
get along?
Yeah, that's what I want, and I wanted to ask Spud, Angel, I know you watch him, but Spud, did you catch Tucker Carlson's well thought out breakdown of this CRT deal the other night? I learned so much, and not just on Tucker's show. All of the Fox hosts have joined in this battle to save our history and our culture by not letting some supposedly smart educators rewrite it. And again, can I ask, what was wrong with what we were taught in school? We white people just want our history to be left alone. And as Tucker has said, yes, many years ago, some things occurred that maybe weren't ideal. But gosh, are white people really responsible for those minor missteps? My ancestors never owned a plantation at least I don't think so. But I'm sure that some of my early ancestors probably did pay people at somewhat below scale wage. But
Gerald, who
that was the marketplace.
You know who did own a plantation?
Who?
Kamala Harris's family.
See, where's the equity? Where's the equity? Are we supposed to feel responsible for this? What our educators should be doing is openly discussing reverse racism so that they can prepare white kids to compete in the job market upon graduation. I know, listen, my oldest, Gerald Jr., he's going to have doors shut in his face from no fault of his own, and he's going to have to overcome these obstacles if he wants to achieve the success his father has. And
yes.
Yeah. He tells me that he doesn't feel like he's being discriminated against as a young white man. And he has mentioned that I'm off base with my concerns. But he's going to soon learn the truth. So my wife and I will continue our efforts to keep that CRT out of the classroom to protect all children. We have to come together on this issue. And it's just one more reason we need to return to the greatest president ever in the White House. We need to get him back in there because he gets it. Donald Trump signed an executive order banning diversity training before he temporarily left office, and now we need him back there to rescue us from this. So that's my thoughts. Back to you, Angel.
Beautifully said.
Thank
Spud, do you have anything at all to add to that? Because I'm sure you got
guarantee he does.
I almost cried, hearing about
you should be ashamed of yourself.
There was a tear slightly in my right eye. I really wasn't aware of this issue before Tucker, Laura Ingraham, and all those other Fox News talking heads started spewing their fairy tales about this. And now it's just really caught on, obviously, if you watch the news. But if you guys are the viewers of Fox, just Google the term CRT, you would learn that no public school system in this country has formally implemented critical race theory in their curriculum.
But they all teach it anyway.
It's just one more runaway train filled with lies and distortions. All right, it's the fuel that powers right-wing talk radio and cable news operations. And without this kind of red meat, man, their viewers just tune out and watch a Hallmark movie. On that channel. So the current blathering about white people being a victim of slander by discussing our full history, as a country is curious to me because no one or any country is perfect. I mean, we all have someone in our family who's a major dick, right? I mean, someone who's done some really not nice things to others, and when the whole family gets together...
Leave my Uncle Richard out of this, please.
Okay, but when the whole family gets together, come on, and the asshole's not there, we do discuss him. We don't pretend he was never born.
You dick!
That those disgusting things he's done over the years never happened. We express sympathy to those he screwed over. And don't try to make him into like an angel, because he isn't. Listen, there are more than enough legitimately decent people in most families. So, we're not threatened by this type of guy. And he doesn't totally define us all. His misbehavior will not stain us all. And we don't hide the facts of, who and what he's done over the years. Owing up to more than a couple, heinous incidents in our country's history is not disrespectful or or not patriotic or unpatriotic or anything where you want to describe it. It might be in China or in current day Cuba, but it's called honesty here in America, and it's nothing to fear, Fox News. Jeez.
I'm not going to lie. In my family, we do have someone. He's not just an asshole. This guy makes Ted Cruz seem likable. But if anyone asks me if I'm related to him, I do admit it. I mean, people are going to find out anyway, if they want to look it up. Hey, white people, trying to hide our country's full and complete history. It isn't going to work. Stopping CRT is a waste of time. You do know kids have Google on their phones, right? So just give it up.
I think he's officially lost his mind, Gerald. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's sad to see. He continues to degrade.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Just bring on the guest, please.
All right, you know what? You're right. Let's just bring on the guest. Look, Robert D.Morningstar is not only just a civilian intelligence analyst, he's also a psychotherapist, author, and he's also an amazing host of his own radio podcast show. So you know what? Let's just bring him on. All right. I've seen definitive proof now that humanity, doesn't really know what the hell's going on, for the most part anyway, but sometimes we do get like a gem sent to us, like our guest, Robert D.Morningstar, who's awesome. And, he's here to help guide us through the vast darkness of reality, or the Democrat Party and some as well. Know it. Yeah. With that said, with your wisdom, sir, I want to ask you this question. What's worse for this country's historical image going forward after the last 3 decades? From your point of view again. A, 9/11 and what happened on 9/11. B, the Summer of Love 2020. Mm-hmm. C, the 2 fake impeachments of we know who, Gerald. You know who. 2 fake, 2, not 1, but 2 fake impeachments.
Could have been 5.
Whatever. Or D, MC Hammer Pants from the 1980s, 90s, can touch this video.
How many choices are you going to give him? Jeez.
Well, you asked me for wisdom. This is This is all part of the worst thing that ever happened to this country, which was the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
That would have been F on my list. That would have been F.
So we can go back to that, but I start with that because the Warren Commission report perverted science, perverted physics, perverted medicine, and perverted law. And that's where the perversions of Washington, D.C. today are rooted. So 9/11, We got over it. New Yorkers are very resilient. We suffered, and we saw it, and we suffered a tremendous loss, nearly 3,000 people that day, and then in 5 years afterwards, thousands more who died from the consequences. But from your question, I think that, quote unquote, Summer of Love, the BLM rampages, and the stealing of the election, which is part of the impeachment, the fake impeachment, I think those are the worst things, and we're overcoming them too. The media is collapsing.
We could agree we're never going to overcome the MC Hammer Pants of Can't Touch This.
Yes.
You are an intelligence analyst, and you know stuff that most people don't. Do you think that extraterrestrial forces may have been involved in rigging the 2020 election to deny Donald Trump his re-election? Maybe because he threatened them with his superior intelligence, because I know he threatens all the liberals here on Earth.
Gerald, you asked the most perfect question, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to ask a question like that.
Seriously?
Because
listen,
I am an intelligence analyst, civilian intelligence analyst for many, many years. And I have in my possession documents that show that Einstein and Oppenheimer betrayed the human race in 1947 by advising MJ-12 to sign a secret agreement with celestial races. That's what they called ETs in those days. And they refer to celestial races who had decided to settle on planet Earth and the need to absorb them into our planetary society. And they suggested 4 different ways to do it. I won't waste your time with the first 3. I will tell you that their final suggestion, the one that was taken by MJ-12 and the secret government, was to give them settlement rights, ranging rights, an agreement that would guarantee the survival of our culture, but would keep their presence secret from the rest of humanity. And I believe that since that time, and that agreement was signed in 1954 at Holloman Air Force Base by President Eisenhower, and it was renewable. Every 10 years it had to be renewed. But in 2008, 2010, the ETs balked, and they want to come out in the open, and they want to walk amongst us as superiors.
Yes, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Because
they're coming through the border. That's
Robert,
the southern border.
Let me just ask. You just led me to my question. It appears that there are actual living species, maybe from a breakaway civilization, as you've said in your books and in your speeches. They vacation here, maybe, or I don't know, just travel here. But why don't they choose to make formal contact? That's what I don't understand. Could it be they're offended, maybe by our current popular musical taste? Like Maroon 5 would trigger them. I mean, why do you think they won't connect with us?
Well, there are several races vying for dominion on the earth, and the United States government has made a deal with one group. And I think that one group has overwhelmed the U.S. government over the period of the last 74 years during the reign of the secret government.
So that's what's happening with the liberals in this country. It's the aliens.
They've all sold out. Look, they were dealing with the devil himself. They've all sold out.
Makes sense.
Oh, the Illuminati.
I had no idea.
The Freemasons, the Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Democrat Party have embraced Lucifer.
Check this out, because this is important. Often when I'm out in public, surrounded by my many fans who love talking to me, and I love talking to my fans. I get a lot of questions, Robert. And to be honest, most of my fans ask me, weird stuff about, paranormal, and they want to know what you think of some of these things. And really, one of the things that really gets to me is how scary individuals are. This is something that I get often, and I really want to base my question on this. In the last 100 years, who do you think is the scariest character we've had in this country? A, Ted Bundy. B, Jeffrey Dahmer. 3, Adolf Hitler. 4, Fidel Castro. Or F, Nasty Nancy Pelosi. And I want you to answer
too many
honestly.
options. That's just too many. Have you seen a standard test in
Well,
any
he
school?
said 100 years, you know. Well, you know, it's odd that
Let
you
him
should
answer.
say that. It's odd, last night I spent the evening watching Triumph of the Will, you know, Hitler's famous propaganda movie. And it was all spoken in German, but it had subtitles. And I realized that Hitler's speeches were very mediocre when they're read in English. You know, they're shallow and hollow. But when he spoke them in German, they sounded like poetry. And this
that's
that's the
thing about
neurolinguistic programming. Neurolinguistic programming is what was being used. But Pelosi is a clear and present danger.
Yes.
She has gone mad. She is a power-hungry witch, and she is trying to impose. They're all trying to impose communism. Angel, your parents came from Cuba. Look what's happening in Cuba, and they're trying to ignore that. But this is exactly what Biden and Pelosi are trying to force on the American people. They're trying to change our behavior patterns. They're trying to change our values, and by force. You know, we've been locked down. We're out of it. New York is free.
The Cuban reference, I got to jump in here on the Cuban reference. That's kind of been an ongoing situation for multiple administrations. I don't think Joe Biden in his 6.5 months or so in office can be held accountable for the current state of affairs there and how our State Department is dealing with it and blah, blah, blah.
The 8 years of Obama where he was the vice president?
It's the policy. It's the policy.
8 years of Obama?
Policy.
So everything has gone to hell in 6.5 months? Is that what you're trying to sell?
No, 8 years of Obama. I'm the only Cuban in here, so let me get this word in. 8 years of Obama, we had them reverse policies that actually was strangling that government. And what they did was they opened it up so there was a floodgate of money going into the Cuban regime, not to the people. Every time we send money to our loved ones, 95% of that was going directly to the government, and very little that was going to the people.
Yes,
and so what we were doing is basically, thanks to Mr. Obama and Biden, we were making the Cuban government richer. So what we need is to give
tourism too, right? It was tourism also.
Right, because they were getting all the money and they were getting loaded thanks to Mr. Obama, who went over there and all he did was watch a baseball game, catch a couple of movies of the Castros, and he appeared limp-wristed when they held his hand up in some interview or some crap. He did nothing at all for the Cuban people, and Biden's not going to do anything. It's always sugarcoating.
But my point is, what did Donald Trump do? I mean, you're acting like he solved the issue of the Cuban...
Hold on. Yeah, but you're talking about a president who was being impeached twice. He was harassed on a daily basis.
That's not dealing with the Cuban issue, though.
But
what did he do to solve it?
He reversed a lot of the Obama policies. And on top of it, he was trying to take care of crisis here at home, the border crisis, Nancy Pelosi,
He never dealt with the Cuban situation, Angel. You know that Trump did not solve one issue there.
But he only had one term, and it was full of malarkey.
Yeah, and Trump has, Biden has 6 months in office, and you're holding him accountable to 4 years?
8 years of Abomination.
Okay.
Anyway, Gerald,
back to the Bush years?
Since President Obama became president.
Robert,
hit him hard.
Your work seems to uncover many incidents of our government trying to fool us. And for me, that's very disturbing, and because I don't like being fooled, and that's one reason why I don't enjoy magicians. Is there anyone in Washington, D.C. that we can trust now that Donald Trump is not our commander-in-chief temporarily?
Yeah.
Anyone in Washington that we can trust?
Anybody.
There's a handful of people.
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, she's one.
Matt Gaetz?
Yeah, that's another. Yeah. Ted Cruz.
Lauren Boebert?
Jim Jordan.
Jim Jordan. Awesome. People who speak.
That's a dream team. Wow.
It is a dream team. It is a dream team because they don't care what you think.
Oh, I know that.
They tell their truth.
Ron DeSantis, my friend.
Yeah, he's not in Washington. That's why I didn't mention him. He's
the man.
So lucky to have a governor like DeSantis. He has the courage to tell the truth to the people. And that's who it has to be told. And Gerald, your question is right on the mark. we have lived in the land of Oz since the JFK assassination. When Operation Mockingbird took over all of the media, all of the newsprint, all of the editorial boards, and started filtering information, feeding what they wanted people to believe to the American public, and the American public ate it up.
Well, guys, that's it with our great guest, Robert D.Morningstar. He is, again, a very knowledgeable individual. And check out his website. It's UFOdigest.com, and it's a fabulous site. We're going to post that on the website. With that said, everybody, Gerald, do you have anything else to add to the shindig here before we continue?
No, I just thought he was a great guest and full of very interesting information. And I hope Spud listened to some. He was trying to talk over him and interrupting him all the time. I hope, Spud, that you listened a little bit to what he was saying.
I'm outnumbered 3-1. What am I supposed to just sit back and be a? Never mind.
That should tell you something, right?
Well,
there.
3 right.
Let's move on. Let's move on.
And 1 wrong. Not too bad. Topic number 2. Is Donald Trump the new Jesus or Antichrist? Now, this is a very important, topic of discussion. I know there's a lot of people like Spud over there who wants to get in on this, but hold on, Spud.
Yes,
you got to understand, there's a lot of folks in America who really believe that these are the last days. And after looking at what's going on with Congress and what happened on January 6th and what happened with last year's Summer of Love, I got to tell you, it really is starting to look like we are living within the last days. And they did say that the second coming was going to be joining us within the last days, and he was going to be anointed by the gods himself. And well, he has a great tan. And who knows a lot about having a great tan? My good friend Gerald.
Spray tan?
Well, sprayed or not, but Gerald knows about a tan once in a while when he gets outside.
I know tan people. I'm just not one of them. But yeah.
Well, yes.
But Angel, this is a topic that I've struggled with, and I'll admit I've not come to a conclusion at this time. I know that Donald Trump was sent by God for sure. Not only not as his only son, because he already gave us that, but I've come to believe that our still president is on a mission from God, and he's not replacing our Lord and Savior, of course. Donald Trump is a team player who never puts himself before others. I mean, he would never try to upstage Jesus, and I know that there are some doubters out there. For instance, some of the Catholic Trump supporters love him, but don't fully accept him as our next Messiah or something. But they seem to feel that he is of this world and not a saint or something yet. So, for now, to them, he's still just one level down from a full saint, and I respect their position. The bottom line here is I cannot prove beyond a doubt that Donald Trump is or is not the new Messiah. But I know... Not yet. But I know he will lead the fight against the liberal Democrat pedophiles out there trying to destroy our country. And you know what? That was more than enough for his 75 million voters in the last election.
Excuse me.
I think it was
time. Excuse me. That was 74,222,958 votes to be exact. Why do you
more like
conservatives and right-wing media? Why do you always round up? Why do you round up?
I'll tell you, as I've said previously, I was taught to round up after 2. So that being said, the non-believers out there need to come to grips that Donald Trump will be with us forever now. He has left his mark, and the world will never be the same again. His legacy will live on long after he has finished his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th terms in office. And let me tell you something else. Angel, you know that Spud and those of his ilk detest President Trump, or soon to be again, very soon, president again.
No, he will not.
They've made him into a cartoon character. He's the villain who ties people to the train track and watches with glee while they get run over and squished. But he's nothing like that. Angel, you know this. He loves us all.
Gerald, they spent 4 years investigating this, man. Hundreds of millions of billions of dollars
They found
to find
Trillions.
nothing. Trillions, possibly. Now they're spending
Aliens.
more trillions on Sri Lanka's abortions. Do we need to know if Sri Lanka people need abortions? We don't need to know that. I don't care about that. No, it does nobody any good here. We have Sippy Cup Joe and Nasty Nancy and the rest of the shenanigans that goes on in Congress.
You got any more nicknames from the 6th grade?
Well, I'll come up with a few more, like Shifty Shift. Okay. We got a couple.
They gotta get some fresh material on the right. You guys got the same old nicknames. They just gotta get some new stuff.
Here's Angel's point.
Sippy Cup is pretty new. I'll tell you that.
Here's Angel's point. Here's Angel's point. President Trump loves us like we were his children.
Loves us all.
Maybe not like we're Ivanka or Donald Jr. because they're more special. But you know what? He loves us kind of like Eric and Tiffany, maybe. And I can only speak for myself, but his love is what gets me out of bed each day to sing his praises. And when I'm down, do you ever do this, Angel? I go back to that YouTube thing and I watch a few minutes of one of his old rallies because they stir my soul and they recharge my batteries because, Angel, as you know, being a Trump supporter requires an immense amount of energy. It's draining. It has a draining effect on you. The constant derision, the jokes behind your back and to your face, the shunning. But in the end, it's all worth it. I fly my Trump flag proudly in my front yard, just like I put my Honk If You Love Jesus bumper sticker on my car. And I know that true Americans everywhere share my love of them both. God bless America. Back to you, Angel.
Gerald, do you do this often also? Do you go back to the debates of 2016 and just watch the one with Hillary where he tells her you would be in jail? That gets my heart pumping every time. I love that.
We'll see who's going to be in jail.
I can watch every debate and watch him mop the floor with her every time.
Jail's a whole nother topic. You got anything else, Angel, before I jump in?
No, go ahead, man. I'm just tearing on that.
He's got to get his
So, Gerald, I gotta say,
it's beautiful. That debate was beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I'm picking up that I'm not a true American if I don't fly a Trump flag.
That is correct. Yes, sir. Yeah.
We kind of fought a war against that King George dude in 1776, and I'm not going back to those days where people had to they had to like genuflect before or bow down actually before some Game of Thrones fake leader. This guy, your guy, came this close, except for a few swing states, to have been reelected, and that's got to be shocking to many, okay? Let's be real here. I'm just going to cut to the chase. If he was reelected, there's no way he would have ever left office. I'm talking about after he's dead. I mean, long after he passed away. His people would just put him in a golf cart, move him around the country for rallies, playing recorded speeches. Maybe his lips wouldn't move, but it'd be good enough for guys like you, Gerald, and I don't know, maybe you too, Angel. Like a weekend at Bernie's Donald Trump would be better than no Donald Trump at all for you guys. Is that right? I mean, they could still raise millions in small donations from aging baby boomers like me.
I know what Gerald and Angel are thinking right about now. No way their supreme leader or his aides would ever take advantage of others for personal gain, right? Seriously, that dude can get away with anything with his followers. Just a few examples. Trump University, or him bragging about grabbing stuff. And of course, Trump Steaks, which I read moved many of his customers to explore the vegan option after getting their stomachs pumped. I could go on, but #sad.
Is he projecting what's happening with Joe Biden right now? Because that sounds a lot like Joe Biden being carried around in a golf cart, just being puppeted around.
If it even is Joe Biden.
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know.
Okay. So, all right. Well, here's the main reason why Donald Trump should not be considered anointed by God. Okay,
am I right?
God has much better taste. He does. I mean, I could see him anointing someone like The Rock or maybe Jennifer Aniston. They have the star power needed. But here's the thing: you still have to be a decent person. And Donald Trump is the most immoral public figure since Matt Lauer. Neither would
Wow.
qualify as anointing material for sure.
That's
So
crazy. That's crazy.
can you evangelicals please drop this religious connection to this creep? It's insane. Okay, so on the religious angle with Trump, I could make a very strong case he's much closer to the Antichrist label. I mean, who else comes close to him or compares to him? No, not Matt Lauer. It's possible if you went way back in history, you could find a couple other worthy candidates, maybe like Caligula. I don't know. He has such like a vital energy source emanating from his every pore, and it's gotta somehow connect to some major superpowers. That I know Trump has something going on there. I mean, just pick up that book by former GOP strategist Rick Wilson. It's titled "Everything Trump Touches Dies." Now, what average person, a non-Antichrist, would have that kind of gift? So it's pretty convincing to me, from my perspective, that this guy, if not the actual Antichrist, is at least a stand-in waiting for the real one, to get sick or retire. That's all I got on this.
Wow, Gerald. Oh, jeez.
I'm
just being real.
I'm speechless, man. It's like he's projecting everything that they're doing on the left.
It's disturbing.
To the right.
Disturbing.
It really is. Look, let me just say this, guys. Right now in this country, the projection that's coming from the left, it's scary because of one major thing here. And they do this over and over and over again. It is mind manipulation. And the unfortunate part is, on the left, there's a lot of weak individuals that are falling for it. And it's sad. It's sad because Donald Trump was sent here. I don't know if it was by God or the gods or whatever, but he is our beacon of light. He is our hope. And he is the one that's going to unite this country. He was doing it for the Latinos, the whites, the blacks, the Asians, for everybody across the board.
3%ers, the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys. You want me to keep going?
Well, he wasn't doing it for the Boogaloo Boys and Tifa or Black Lives Matter. I'm sorry, those are domestic terrorists. We don't deal with those on our end.
We're not even going to get into terrorism on this issue, but there's plenty of them that went into the Capitol. But we're not going to deal with that. Anyway, let's just get to final thoughts.
Look, guys, my final thought here on this whole thing. Right now, we're in a critical moment in our country. We need to really buckle down and just take control of what's going on because the left is losing their mind. You can see it in Congress. You can see it in what's going on with the voter registration, having to have IDs being a bad thing. If I need an ID to go and buy cigarettes or beer, why couldn't I have an ID to vote? That is all mind manipulation. The left is fooling y'all. Don't be fooled because remember Joe Biden said in the 90s, they're going to put y'all back in chains. And that's what he wants to do. So be careful, everybody. And that's my final thought.
I like a nice chain. I don't really have any gold chains at all. But
I don't think that's the kind of chains he meant there, but that's not what he meant. You know that.
I'm not sure because, I'll tell you what, I'll Google it.
Yeah, you better Google it. YouTube it also.
All right. I want to give my final thoughts, and that is this. I feel pretty darn good about this episode, as I think I successfully defended all that is important to real Americans around this country. It's not easy going head-to-head against radical socialist Democrats like Spud Goodman and his crowd. On our radio show, I have to kowtow to him and all the other liberals on it. But this program, having my own platform with you, Angel, being in the majority on Rabbit Punched, it is so darn invigorating. I can't tell you what it's done to my outlook on the future. As very soon, our president will be back in the White House where he belongs.
Did you mean the like the big house, like a prison in the state of New York? Because that's a distinct possibility. But hey, I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, okay? Because he's like sort of like an unrelenting cyborg who just can't be put down.
Donald Trump is not a cyborg, for gosh sakes.
I don't know what exactly he is.
Spud, that's very disrespectful to our soon-to-be commander-in-chief once again. And I know that I am comforted by him not forsaking us. It would be so easy for him to just stay at his mansion in Florida and golf away the years. But no, he's not a selfish person. He cares about each and every one of us, and that's why he's agreed to become our president. just think what this country would be like if he had not been elected in 2016. Where would we be right now? I shudder. I shudder to think about that, America. And it sure wouldn't be as great as it was until January of this year. Am I right, Angel?
Hey, all I gotta say is #facts matter. Good job, my friend. With that, gentlemen, I bid you adieu, farewell, as wiedersehen, and we'll catch you again next time on Rabbit Punch. Goodbye, everybody. I got nothing else. Gerald, you're the man.
You know, I would love to continue this conversation, but I got to go. I got stuff to do. But, you know, I was thinking, you keep wishing upon a star that your president is going to come back and save you and all your MAGA buddies. Is it because I read the other day that one of the first things he says he's going to do if he ever does return to the White House is bring back some of those darn Confederate statues that were taken down? The ones you guys love so much. I just don't get the worship of generals who got beat. Usually statues are made of winners. But anyway, I'm out of here. I am Spud Goodman, all right? Be all you can be, and I mean that. God bless and ciao.
Bye-bye.
Well, darn it. You know, I thought just once, maybe on this episode, someone else could be the last one to sign off. Why is it me always? It's not fair. But you know what? As my mother always said, Gerald, when life hands you a couple of lemons, you can either throw them in the garbage can or you can eat them. And though I find lemons to be quite tart, often so sour they irritate my stomach, I have never, ever thrown a lemon into the garbage can in my life, and I never will. My mom taught me so many valuable life lessons. I'll just say this, until we meet again on the next episode of Rabbit Punched, I am Gerald Holcomb, your defender of liberty and freedom, and I will now bid everyone a fond adieu. Freedom! All right. Hey, sweetie? Honey? Rachel? I'm done here. Can you turn everything off? Maybe unplug the computer, in case we're getting tapped. Because I thought I heard a few clicking sounds during the show, and maybe I'll run up to the Radio Shack and get one of those, what do they call those bug detectors? Because you never know.
Honey, unplugging is not necessary. We are not being bugged. Just go upstairs and I made a snack for you. It's your favorite air-fried pig's feet.
Ooh, I love air-fried pig's feet.